Back there now at 9:22, continuing our talk about constitutional carry. There you go with Senator Irvin Yen, Don Spencer here. Could we go back to the background checks of what this bill would mean? And because it seems like a lot of people think that there are major holes in this bill. Mental health checks before 2015 aren't checked.
Well, if a person has been adjudicated mentally incompetent for whatever person, they're not legally allowed to carry a firearm. That's under current law. So if that's what you're referring to.
So my point is, if you don't have a concealed handgun permit, can you carry a gun if this passes and you've had some mental health issues in the past? So that's one question. Number two, the background check that they do when I go purchase a handgun from, say, Academy Sports is based upon a name only, okay? I'm not sure it's that good of a background check. Whereas the background check for getting a concealed handgun permit is actually way more significant in my opinion. Again, if police pull over somebody with a handgun after this law passes, how do they know that person has mental health issues or does not? How do they know that?
And the other question, do you have to buy, if this goes into effect, would you have to buy from certain places those firearms?
There's no change in federal law on a firearm purchase. If you purchase from a FFL, which is a federal firearm licensee, you go through the background check. If we decide to go out in the parking lot and sell a firearm to each other, it's no one else's business.
And OSBI says that these background checks don't get updated if you get arrested after purchase. Is that accurate?
Arrested after? Well, you also have to concern yourself between arrest and a conviction. So I'm not exactly sure for your answer there, but if it's been an arrest, does not necessarily mean you should have your firearm taken away from you, unless it's a violent act, obviously. But as far as an arrest or a conviction, obviously that would be at the court's decision on what would take place after that.
What's the point of bringing this, to the legislature now? Is this something that we try to pass every single year and it has failed? And what's the deal with 2018 and its timing?
I've been the president of OK2A, or I've been with OK2A since 2010, and we've brought this introduced every year. 2 years ago, we got it close, and that was just for an open carry of a firearm. And this year, we managed to get it to where just a constitutional carry of a firearm.
We had another viewer come in. This was from Ron O'Neill, and Ron said this: will I still be able to get a license so I can legally carry into other states with the reciprocity agreement?
Yes, I believe Don said that yes.
It does not change the licensing program one bit. It's still fully intact. I highly recommend you go ahead and obtain a license for reciprocity just for this purpose and just for this reason.
Mm-hmm. And I also thought this was a poignant question. This came in from Representative Shane Stone, and Shane said this: can you explain to me why I should have to go pay for a license or an identification card in order to carry out my even more fundamental right to vote, but I shouldn't have to carry a weapon?
Yeah. Yes.
You agree?
For starters, you still have to have identification to carry the weapon. So nothing changes between that and your voting right.
So if this goes to the governor's desk, what is it up to her now, or what are next?
I believe it is.
Steps?
It is on her desk.
And I don't know what she's going to do.
Have you talked to her?
Time will tell. No, but I promise I will.
And what are you hearing from other legislators? What are you hearing from your constituents, sir?
About this bill?
About this bill and what Oklahomans want.
Just yesterday, I had one of my Senate colleagues ask me, he said, "Are you being slammed?" And I said, "For my no vote?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "No, quite the contrary. I'm getting thank yous from many, many of my constituents. I've been slammed a few times, but way more by people who are thanking me for voting no on 1212. And I've had two people that were listening to my debate late in the evening and said it brought them to tears.
Well, you're not against constitutional carry,
or
you're not against just carrying.
I'm not against handguns. I'm not for outlawing handguns.
Yep.
I'm just against people being able to carry a weapon on their person without proper training. And I think the concealed handgun permit is good, and we should continue to have that for people who carry a weapon.
The bill came out of the Senate 34-9. So I think that's a pretty overwhelming evidence that it is popular. And also, with all due respect, Senator Yen last year in 2017 had an F rating with the Oklahoma Second Amendment Association, so which is inconsistent with the Republican values in the state.
What have you, based on research from other states that have constitutional carry, what have you seen in terms of crime rates? Do they increase? Do they decrease when this is passed into law?
They plateau or slightly drop.
So not a lot of change.
There's virtually no change. In fact, you're not going to see much change in society because as an instructor, most people carry concealed because they don't want other people to know they have it. You're just visually not going to see much of a change. And the thugs and the perpetrators, they're carrying concealed too. And again, you're probably not going to see much of a change.
And I'm guessing, what are you hearing from people? I'm guessing you're hearing from mostly people who are in support of this.
We're having some pretty good powwows. Our people are very enthused. Even another TV station did a 25,000 response, and there was 76% that said that they wanted it to happen. I personally don't trust polls like that, but that's pretty impressive because I wouldn't have not thought it would have been that high myself.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, we only have about a minute left. If each of you wants to make closing remarks about, you know, why you oppose it, why you're a proponent of it.
I'm worried about public safety. And to what Mr. Spencer said about my rating being 0, I don't care what that is, okay? I don't care what my rating is. I'm trying to do what I believe is best for most of my constituents and the rest of the people of Oklahoma. That's what I'm a senator for. That's what I'm doing.
And I'd
Don?
just like to make sure the rights are restored to the people that should have never been taken away in 1907.
Thank you both. We do appreciate your time
appreciate it.
and your perspective this morning. KCO5 News at 9 o'clock continues right after this break.